creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Ring of Honor. I told myself that I would try to be nice. This is Tony Khan's birthday, but I want to be honest. I have to say, every week I am just like, oh my God, what am I doing? It is just not as great as how it was. Now, I will say one of the things that's killing me here, and I don't know if other people would agree, is that they're doing a thing where they are adding classic matches onto the show. Now, I don't want to say that I'm against it. If they would put this at the end of the show, then great. However, they're literally putting on classic matches that are like 30, almost 40 minutes long right before the main event that are just 10 minutes, if that. I just feel like it doesn't feel right the way that they're placing these classic matches. I would honestly put it at the very end of the show. Or I honestly think another thing they could do is that since all they ever do is give AEW commercials, what they can do is in between matches they can play clips of really great moments of different matches per break. And that'll encourage people to be like, oh, okay, well, I got the Honor Club, let me go check out that match that I just showed a clip of, instead of showing the whole thing. Really what I think that they're doing is they're showing these whole classic matches, these long classic match, because that ends up adding time to the show that would otherwise be an hour long show. When he was doing the tapings in Texas, those were 2 hour shows. There were no classic matches. There was nothing. It was straight up them having time to actually put on these shows. And now it's just like, oh, okay, the classic matches are there because y'all just don't have too much to give us. And honestly, Tony Khan, I think I have a plan that can fix that. Give me a motherfucking call. Now, we did start off with the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship on the line. Yes, you heard that right. Our boy Gabe Kidd came on to Ring of Honor and went against Anthony Henry. Now, they did do a little promo. They showed it earlier in the day on social media. Gabe ain't got nothing else to do in New Japan right now. So why not come on over to Ring of Honor, put his title on the line. And Beef was the one who was pretty much recruited Anthony Henry to go against him for the title. So they end up having a match. I was not expecting this to be the opening match. However, the match didn't give me exactly what I wanted. Why? Because Beef was too busy. Well, Anthony Henry was getting his ass whooped, yes, but Beef was, I guess, feeling some type of way about Anthony not doing so well, and he kept trying to help him. And obviously, Gabe Kidd was like, you know what, I will both y'all asses, and he ends up taking the win. I would like to see more of Gabe, but unfortunately, Anthony Henry is on injury right now. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him until 2025. So that was the last match. No, that's not the last match he had. He had another match, and that last match, I can't remember who he went against. He ended up suffering an injury, so we won't be able to see him until next year, sometime next year. So get well, Anthony Henry. Definitely missed by me. Now, after this, Brandon Cutler, he out there, and he is challenging have an open challenge anyone who's ever been a champion, or anyone who is a champion who wants to come and face me. I'm like, Brandon, nobody want to face you. But then here comes Shibata, who comes out and take out the trash that is Brandon Cutler, ends up taking the win. This was just a little warm up for Shibata for Wrestle Dream at pay-per-view. Nothing really to see here. After this, Brian Cage just cutting his little promo. He is having a match on the pre-show of Wrestle Dream against Atlantis Jr. for the TV title. And to be completely honest, I feel like he should take the win. He should take the win. I feel like in terms between him and Atlantis Jr., Brian Cage, which I feel like he's deserving. I think he's deserving of a title. However, there's no build or anything to it, so maybe people are not into it like that. But I do feel like if Brian wins his title, he can commit more to being a Ring of Honor champion in comparison to Atlantis Jr., who is from CMLL. And I think we can get something, a nice run out of Brian Cage if he ends up winning that. So that I'm hoping would be the case. After this, we have Billy Starks versus Local Talent. Billy Starks ends up taking the win. And I would say another thing too. The crowd was quiet quiet throughout the whole thing, and it's because they don't really know what's going on. Majority of the people that's sitting out in the crowd, they don't watch Ring of Honor. They have no clue what it is. Even when you get a great match, they seem to just be quiet, and I just don't understand what all that is about. Now, Billie, she ends up taking the win. We will be having a celebration party for our girl Athena at some point. I don't know when that's going to take place, but it's going to be interesting because I do feel like Billie Starkz is having, like, she has a foot outside the door in terms of being a minion. Now, after this, we do have the Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. They're teaming up to go against the infantry. Our girl Trish Adora is there as well, and they have a really great tag match. Surprise, surprise! Lee and Shane take the win, and the infantry is starting to have a little bit of a losing streak here. And the infantry, they're wearing black and orange, like darker colors than what they normally wear. And it was interesting because I was like, oh, okay, we got a change in the gear. Last week they were booed to hell going against the Outrunners. So there's a little bit of a difference in terms of how the infantry is being perceived by the fans, I'm guessing. But I will say this. What was interesting was backstage, the infantry was back there talking. And then Shane Taylor was just like, oh, you guys are really great team, really great faction. Y'all can't be the nice veterans forever. And it seems like he was going to extend an invitation to the infantry joining STP. But then Shane turns to Trish Adora and said, don't forget, Trish, I didn't forget that conversation you and I had. And then he ends up leaving. And then the infantry was looking at Trish and was like, wait, what conversation are you talking about? When were you having a conversation with Shane Taylor? And Trish was like, oh, no, it's nothing to worry about. You know, we just talking. It's nothing. And it was very interesting because I was just like, wait a minute, was she thinking of leaving the Sean and Carly to go with SCP? We have talked about a woman joining that group, and it would be interesting for us, Trish Adora. However, it would also still be interesting if STP would have had the entire infantry to go ahead and join them. That would be a really great faction. After this, we do have the Dark Order talking about they need to make their way back into the Trios division, which is obviously the six-man tag division in Ring of Honor. While they're talking, here is the Iron Savages with their little purple drink that they got in their little shaker cups, basically challenging them to a trios match. Long story short, I don't give a damn what the Dark Order is doing. Their booking has not been consistent. They're not consistently heels, not consistently baby faces. And honestly, I just don't know what can be done with the name Dark Order at this point with these three individuals. I don't know what we will do with them as singles competitors either. They need a complete repackage, I think. I think people still cheer for them and still like them because of, you know, the Dark Order in the past, but what's going on with them now, it's shit. Now, after this, the best match, the only match I think is actually worth sitting through, is for the women's TV title. We had Red Velvet going against Diamante. Holy shit, these girls fucking knocked it out the park. And this is one of those things that I always say, like, sometimes not having the Honor Club, which I'm not even gonna recommend to y'all, you're missing out on some of the best matches. And this is definitely was an amazing match here. And for the women to just kill it like this, I was not looking forward to this match, to be completely honest with you. I was just like, I would like to see a feud play out between the two of them before they actually had their match. I'm tired of I see you, you see me, let's have a match. I want there to be interactions. I want there to be things going on for weeks at a time before they get their hands on each other in the ring. Now, they tore it up. I've been saying that I wanted to see Red Velvet be a little bit more aggressive, but not like heel aggressive. And I think she did bring it up a notch here. Diamante, though, you can see in this entire match from the beginning to the motherfucking end, she was hungry to get this title. And oh my gosh, I just loved what this match I brought out of Diamante. And I just and watching this, I was just like, Diamante, there's no reason why we don't see her at least on Rampage. Like, she is fucking amazing, especially when she had that Texas death match with Layla Hirsch. like over a month ago, about 2 months ago. That was another fucking amazing match as well. Now, Diamante, she is being overly aggressive with Red Velvet. Red Velvet kind of really looks weak here in a sense because she's struggling to defend herself against Diamante. Diamante gets to the point that she is beating the shit out of her. She's throwing her against every fucking barricade in the building. And then she ends up grabbing the title and she smashes it onto Red Velvet's head. And Red Velvet laid out crying and everything. And Cutie referee Brandon went for the bell. Now, even after this, she ends up taking the belt and she is beating the shit out of Red Velvet, who's barely even fucking moving. And I thought that was so interesting because then Diamante had realized once Brandon was like, you gotta go. You know, that's when she realized, holy shit, I just lost my opportunity to actually win this title. And you can see in her face, like, she just seems so disappointed that she let that ambition get too much of her, and that ended up costing her the match. Oh, this is definitely not over between the two of these girls. I would love to see more, but this right here was a tremendous match. Although Red Velvet gets to retain and there's no actual clear winner here via pinfall or submission, I thought that this was damn near excellent, and I can't wait to see what these two ladies have in store. Now after this, we do have Lance Archer with some poor unfortunate soul. He's a local talent. When they said his name, the whole building everybody just erupted because he's a local talent, so they're showing him love or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, y'all up for this? Okay, y'all was sleeping for the rest of the show, but okay. Yeah, this is Lance Archer, so this shit was over in like 2 minutes. I don't care for this. Lance Archer has just joined the Don Callis family, and honestly, the squash match stuff got to stop. It has to stop. Lance Archer is way better than that. He's just, unfortunately, there's that thing, that big man thing in pro wrestling where it's just like, oh, you're a powerhouse, so come out there and win in like 2 or 3 minutes tops, and you look good for your whole fucking career. I don't think so. We gotta, him joining Don Callis family, we need to change things up for Lance Archer. And that unfortunately must mean that he is not part of the righteous anymore. After this, we do have a classic match from Glory by Honor 5, which was Kenta versus Danielson. Is this an excellent match? Absolutely. However, the placement of this, no, not good. I don't think, I get where he's coming from. Without this match, I think this match kind of ran somewhere close to 35 to 40 minutes in total. With they cut the entrances, but the match was a really long match. While this was great to watch, it was just like in the middle of a new show, you're bringing out a full-length long match to take up space to make this show feel like it's longer than what it is. I don't think that's what they should have done. Now, Tony Khan did an interview and he mentioned that doing the classic matches is what he wanted to do, part of the show. Honestly, I don't feel like that works out long term. You've already had Ring of Honor for definitely more than a year and a half, and now you're introducing this. People probably prefer the format of the show that you've been going with. I think, like I said earlier, putting in clips from classic matches, putting like the best bits from the classic matches, that will encourage people to be like, holy shit, that looked like it's a great match. Let me go and tune into wherever the match was from and go check it out. That's how that should work. Rather than putting a full-length match in between a squash motherfucking match and the main event. Main event was a Proving Grounds match. You guys know Proving Grounds matches are 10 minutes long. If you can last 10 minutes, you'll win to go for the actual title. If not, then you just don't. Now, I just didn't like this. I felt like the vibe of the show completely shifted. And it's not like this was a knock out the park show with Ring of Honor, but the vibe of it, of just bringing that classic. The thing is that Tony Khan, this is your company, you do whatever you want. But I feel like at the end of the day, you should be asking fans like, well, what do you feel about that format? Y'all not testing shit with actual people, customers that watch this stuff and be like, well, how do you feel about us doing this and doing this here, putting this between a squash and a main event? Main event was like, I don't know, 7 minutes, 8 minutes tops. Mark Briscoe versus Josh Woods. Josh Woods, he's amazing. He's amazing. This was a proving grounds match. One of those things, once again, I have no clue where this match even came from, but they gave it to us anyway. Mark Sterling out there, and he is just so fucking hilarious, getting involved into the match and trying to help Josh Woods win. But honestly, that doesn't help. When does it ever help? But he's trying, y'all. He's trying. Mark Briscoe wins, so Josh does not get an opportunity to go against Mark Briscoe in the future for the title. Now, I will say this. They were supposed to have a storyline with our boy Shane Taylor and Mark Briscoe. They started it very briefly, and then Shane got hurt. He hurt his shoulder, so he was gone. I don't know. It was more than a month for sure. So he was out of action. Now, for whatever reason, they haven't brought it back up yet since Shane has been back, and I'm hoping that's where we're going to lead to, at least for the next big pay-per-view, which is Final Battle, which is in February. We don't have a date or a location yet, but Tony Khan is good together, come back to Texas. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to stories. And I know people are just like, well, does it have to be a story? Well, when you're watching a show and it's deprived of stories from like almost top to bottom, yes, you want some of these things. People are paying $10 for Honor Club, and they're looking for a reason to continue their subscription. And I'm noticing less and less people wanting to continue their subscription. Tony Khan, you probably got me for life, but I can't say that I am sports entertained at this point. But there are still some good things to look out for. Now, I will say, if anything to go back and watch that was absolutely amazing was the women's TV title match, Red Velvet and Diamante. This was definitely not what I expected at all. They did an amazing job. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back for a review on Rampage. And then on Saturday, Wrestle Dream watch along and review on that as well. I'll see you guys then. Bye.